Hi, I'm Flathead Associate News Editor Ariel Cohen, here for another episode of That Guy with Senior Neal Desai.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. So, Neal, what have you been up to recently?
Well, I would say that for the majority of my summer and through this past couple semesters, I've been focusing on my medical school stuff. I'm now a senior. I'm a kinesiology and health sciences major, but I'm pre-med. So I've been really busy. It's an extensive process. It's like going through the college process all over again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I had to first send in a primary application, and then they all come back, and you get secondary applications, and I applied to a good amount of schools. It was really overwhelming because when my application got verified, they all came at the same time. So like I was at work one time, and I got like 15 emails within like an hour being like, hey, apply to our school, you have to do this within a certain time frame, and like that makes you feel very overwhelmed. You're like, oh, I gotta get this done really quickly.
Wow. So, pre-med isn't a designated major at the college. It's more people major in other things, but they take all the pre-med classes. So can you explain how that works?
Yeah, sure. So I mean, you can really major in whatever you want. Some people like to do the sciences just because they think it'll make themselves better for set themselves up, more to say, for medical school.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can do whatever you want, and you just have to take the classes. You have to take 2 semesters of organic chemistry, 2 semesters of regular chemistry, bio, and physics, and then biochemistry for some schools. It really depends. A lot of schools like to see English classes too. They just want to see that you're like a balanced person.
That's interesting. So I know this summer you were in Williamsburg working as a scribe. It's kind of preparation for the med school life. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So I was here. First of all, I forgot how hot it is during the summer in Williamsburg. It was scorching hot, and we also got a ton of rain, which of course makes things in an emergency room that much more treacherous because there's a lot more accidents on the road. But yeah, so I started in January as a scribe at Sentara, Williamsburg Regional Medical Center. It's the hospital down the road, and we, as a scribe, you're paired up with an emergency room physician, and you have these rolling computers. They're called cows, computers on wheels, and we follow around the physician throughout that time, and we are responsible for patients' charts. So we are almost like a dictation service at some points. The doctor will speak, and we will type everything out. But that's not it. The only thing we do a lot of the times, one of our main roles is we facilitate communication between nurses and doctors, because doctors may be somewhere else and the nurse might need to inform the doctor of something, but they have other duties as well. So they'll relay the message to us, and we're the intermediate point in between the nurses and the doctors.
That sounds really interesting. I would ask you to tell us some stories, but I know you're bound by HIPAA rules that you can't. So I know that you are president of Student Conduct Council this year, which is an organization not too many students on campus are completely aware of. So can you tell us what you do through Student Conduct Council?
Yeah, sure. So I'm one of the 2 co-chairs of the Student Conduct Council. For those who are unfamiliar, there are 2 councils we have: Honor Council, which everyone is familiar with, and Student Conduct Council. Honor Council, they deal with lying, cheating, and stealing. And Conduct Council, we get the types of things that are not related to those things, such as alcohol violations, violence, residence life disputes, stuff like that. Alcohol is, of course, our most common violation. And on the Conduct Council, we have the hearing boards. It's similar to Honor Council. The only difference, well, not the only difference, but one of the few differences is that we are not elected, such like the Honor Council. We go through an application and interview process through the Dean of Students office.
Oh, interesting. So if a student is caught having alcohol in their dorm room, would they be sent to you?
Potentially. So we are an option for the student to resolve their infraction. So if they are documented by an RA, they'll be sent to the Dean of Students office, and at that point they can either resolve administratively with the Dean of Students office if they say, yes, this is what happened, I agree to the facts. But say they don't agree with the sanction, or say that they believe there's some information in the report that's incorrect, then they can kind of appeal it and say I would like to have a student panel, and that's where we come in. So that way we will look over the evidence, and we'll have kind of style thing, and see how it goes.
That's nice that there's a chance for students to be reviewed by their students instead of just the administration. Makes it more on a peer-to-peer level. Well, that's really great that you can do that. So now you're a senior, you're starting off your last year here. You're obviously involved in a lot on campus. If you could give any advice to freshmen, just as they're starting their career at William & Mary.
I guess my advice would be to stretch yourself in a way that you go outside of your comfort zone, and stretch yourself in that regard. But don't stretch yourself too thin in the fact that you're not going to do things to the best possible extent that you can. You should always, I think William & Mary students do a really good job of putting 100% effort into what they do, and it becomes a lot easier when you have a couple things that you can truly focus on and do a good job with.
That's some really good advice. Thank you, Neal.
No problem.
And if you have anybody you would like to see on That Guy, email the Flat Hat online.